Hello, I'm Patrick Wanis, human behaviour expert, PhD. Fat shaming. What is it? Fat shaming is when one person condemns, criticises, judges, mocks, or bullies another person for being fat, and then proceeds to say, because you're fat, you're worthless, you're not good enough, you're not valuable, and you should be ashamed of yourself for being fat. It's all your fault. Now, of course, that's very similar to victim shaming. Fat shaming is a very, very hot topic, particularly after Nicole Arbour, a comedian, released a video on YouTube telling fat people, unless they have a medical condition, they have no excuse, and it is their fault, and they should be more responsible. She also went as far as to say, are you going to tell a doctor that he's being mean and fat shaming you when he says, because you're obese, you have heart disease?
Are you gonna tell the doctor that they're being mean and fat shaming you when they say you have fucking heart disease? I'm not talking about people who have a little bit of cushion for the pushing. And if there's people watching this with a specific health condition, this is not aimed at you. I'm talking about the 35% of North Americans who are obese. That means you are so fat, you are affecting your own health.
In response to Nicole Arbour's video, TLC star of My Big Fat Fabulous Life, Whitney Way Thor, released her own video and said, fat shaming is a real thing, and what you're saying is wrong. And she said that a lot of parents create body image disorders in their children by either shaming them or criticizing them for their body. Whitney Way Thor also said, you can't tell the health of a person simply by looking at them. Now, we need to look at fat shaming from a completely different perspective. We need to first say, is it true that if you're fat and obese, that it's unhealthy? Yes, it is. Is it true that if you're fat, unhealthy, and obese, that it's all your fault? Not necessarily. You could have a medical condition or a serious illness, which is what Whitney Way Thor referred to when she spoke about herself. Number 3, we need to say, is it true that parents create body image disorders in their children? Yes, they do. Number 4, we also need to say that if a child is obese, that the parent is engaging in child abuse because the child is a victim and the child doesn't fully decide, nor should they fully decide, what they are eating. The point here is that we need to engage in balance. If you are obese, it is obviously unhealthy. Do you have control over your body? To a certain extent. If you have a medical condition, that's a different thing. However, there are too many people who choose to not take care of their body, who choose not to respect their body, who choose to eat junk food or not do enough exercise, or who have too many negative emotions. Now again, this is not about fat shaming people. It's about saying, take a look at what you are doing to yourself. Take a look at your own health. We cannot say that a person that is 400 or 500 pounds, that they're therefore healthy. That's the other extreme. And it is also true that parents do create body image disorders in their children when they criticize them. They could say something small, something relatively innocent to the daughter, who then from that moment on doesn't like her body and attaches all of her value to her body. That's what a body image disorder is. It's when someone thinks there's something wrong with my body and therefore there's something wrong with me. I'm not good enough. I'm a flawed person. We also need to ask ourselves, why was Nicole Arbour so harshly criticized and condemned when there are so many other videos on YouTube doing exactly what she does, i.e. fat shaming other people? In fact, there's one video which involves the 20 excuses for being fat, including, I have a thyroid problem. Well, it's a disease. Or, I'm not fat, I'm just big boned. And yet it was a male who put out this video and no one has attacked him.
I had a baby
12 years ago. Why don't you just go run a few?
But when a female comedian put it out, she was attacked. Was that because of her gender? Or was it most likely, probably more likely, because of the way she presented it? Because there seemed to be a certain sense of bitterness, certain sense of anger, and a certain sense of cynicism in the way she put it out.
Dear fat people. Some people are already really mad at this video. What are you gonna do, fat people? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna chase me? Really? You're gonna chase me? It's gonna be like fucking Frankenstein.
You see, shaming people doesn't necessarily help them to change their behavior. In fact, it very rarely ever does. Shaming people isn't the way to help people to change their behavior. The better way is to sit down with a person and help them to see who they are and what they're doing and how it's affecting their body and then how it's going to affect their life long term. If you'd like to learn more about ways to encourage people to change their behaviour, go to my website patrickwanis.com and also go to my blog. For patrickwanis.com, I'm Patrick Wanis.